Hello all. I want to do a little quick video, well maybe not that quick, you know how I get sometimes, but on a program called Julius. And Julius is a speech-to-text engine, and it's one that resides locally on my own machine. I don't have to send out into the cloud to have the text translated. Now, it's not as good as, not as accurate as Google's speech-to-text, but it's free. Google's speech-to-text is a product that one pays for if one uses it more than 60 minutes a day. But 60 minutes is actually a lot of time if it's used intelligently, because if you're taking 15 seconds to get something translated, you can get a lot of things translated. So what is that, 60 times 4? You can get 240 things transcribed a day. So if those are commands, that's 240 commands a day that you can run on Google's speech-to-text or Google speech recognition in the cloud for free. And I don't know, some days I run a lot of commands, but I think that that's probably more than what I'm going to need per day. Unfortunately, if you just run all of your speech recognition going to Google, if it's just on all day long, that's 24 hours. That's not 1 hour, or 12 hours if you're up for 12 hours and your computer's on for 12 hours, and it's continuously listening and continuously translating. That's very expensive. It's not something that I want to do. I don't think that it's affordable. However, if my computer isn't listening all the time using Google, if it's using Julius to listen for a wake word, and then it grabs the speech and sends it off to Google, that's fine. It's going to be very accurate, and I'm not going to use up that many minutes a day. So here's a little demonstration of the program. Here's the command I'm going to run. Julius, 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 Julius. All right, so now I'm stopping it. You can see I said Julius 4 times, and it got it 3 out of the 4. So far, every time I've run Julius, it's gotten the first try wrong. So I don't know what's going on. It may be that the engine needs to warm up a little. So it doesn't concern me that it got it wrong the first time. If every time I use it, and by that I mean if I turn it on in the morning and it's on all day long and it doesn't get the first utterance correct, that's fine if it gets every other utterance correct. Now, the point here is that I'm only going to be asking this program to recognize 1 word, maybe 2 words. Julius is a word that it seems to get right almost all the time. So that's understandable. Since the name of the program is Julius, it's very likely that they spared no effort in getting it to recognize that particular word correctly. Julius is not it's not based on a neural net. It's based on older technology that has a success rate of about 85 to 88%, somewhere in there. which I don't think is good enough to use for general speech recognition. But if it gets the wake word 99% of the time, that's fine, that's good enough. What this is going to do is it's going to make sure that I'm not sending every word that I speak to Google, because I don't want the expense of it, number one. Number two, I want some privacy. I don't want everything I say going to Google all day long. It's not that I don't trust Google, it's just that why should I trust them? Anyway, so as you can see, this comes back and it has these 3 lines. Every time it runs, it comes back with 3 lines. And so I want the line in the center here, the one that says sentence 1. So from within my Python program, I'm going to have to extract this, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at where this program is and how to get it and how to install it. So out on GitHub, there is a Julius-speech/Julius repository. And I believe that this is the official repository, although I'm not entirely sure. The reason I say this is because it's a Japanese program, written in Japanese, and it has an English version has been created, but I don't know if this was created by the original people. If you look at the README file, the copyright is Kyoto University, the Kawahara Lab, and I suppose we could take a look here at the project team. Anyway, you can look through this at your leisure. This is the official site for it, but I think this is their official GitHub page. This is the main developer / maintainer is Akinobu Lee, and this is if you look back here. This is the person here, Akinobu Lee. He's the one that is maintaining this repository. So just like anything else, you come over here and you clone this. Actually, that's not true. Let's go down here to the instructions here. So we have to install these packages first. And then I went to my code directory and I ran this command here, git clone blah blah blah. Git clone https://github.com/julius-speech-julius.git, and then cd into it. And I ran this command here, /configure --enable words -int. Then I ran this command, make -j4. And then you can list this here and it will tell you that this exists. And if this exists, then the make ran properly. So once you have this done, then we have to go to the Julius model page. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. Come over here. And so this is out on SourceForge. And I don't usually like to use SourceForge, but I do sometimes. Anyway, this is the one we want here. Where is it? envr-v5.4.dnn.bin.zip. And if you just click on that, it will put it in your wherever your download folder is. And once it's in there, let's see what I did here. I ran this command, unzip. First of all, I moved it. I moved it into, I made a directory called model, and I copied it in there, and then I unzipped it. And once I did that, this is what I had here. I had the envr-v5.4.dnn.bin directory, and if I cd into that, I have all these files here. And the important files here are this dnn.jconf. You won't have these are copies I made. I can delete those. But there's a dnn.jconf, and eventually we're going to make this file here the mic.jconf file. And we're going to run the program from within here. So we'll come back to this. Let's go back to, we're done with getting the model, we're done with unzipping the model. We're up to here, this modify the config file. And so they have instructions here for modifying the config file. And I don't think they could have done a worse job in describing how to modify this file. So fortunately, there's an issues section. In all these GitHub files, there's an issues section. I'm going to open this in a new tab. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to search for dnn.jconf. Alright, so I think this is the one. Alright, so this poor sod came in here and he tried to modify his dnn.jconf files using the instructions, and he couldn't do it. But ZZ was kind enough to say, oh, this is what you were supposed to do. So I just copied this and pasted it into my dnn.conf file. And lo and behold, it worked. So that's what you should do too. You should copy this and paste it in, delete your dnn.jconf file contents and paste this in instead. And then let's come back down here. After you modify the config file, then you can recognize an audio file if you want, but we're not going to do that because, well, you can run this if you want. This Julius, 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 Julius. You have to make sure that this is pointing to the right directory. So from here, I'm actually running ///Julius /Julius blah blah blah. So depending on how you set up your directory structure, your path is going to be unique. So make sure that the path that you use makes sense. You have to find this Julius file and then make the path correct. In my case, this is /home/bard, that's my home directory, /code /Julius /Julius /Julius. Julius is an executable file. It's a binary file in this location. And then -C is configuration. Is going to find that the mic.jconf file. -dnnconf, it's going to find the dnn.jconf that we just modified to use those hidden instructions in the repository. I use the -quiet switch to produce less output. You can leave this off if you want. And I'm sending the error to dev null. You can also leave this off. You don't have to put this on. So this whole bit here, you can just leave off. You don't need to do this. And so let's go back here for a second. And here, where we run with live microphone input, we want to make sure that there is a file called mic.jconf, and we want to make sure that this is what's put inside of it. So once you have this mic.jconf file and you're putting it in the same directory as the dnn.jconf, then you can run a version of this command down here. And when you do, you can start talking. You can start talking. And as you can see, it understood what I was saying. So, you know, I've used Pocket Sphinx and I didn't like it. I thought it was crappy. I think that this is better than Pocket Sphinx. And certainly if all you're going to do is evaluate a wake word, and you're going to do the rest of your speech to text with Google's engine in the cloud, this is perfectly fine. This should work very well. So that's it. That's how you install it. That's how you use it. I'm going to have to figure out how to integrate this into my virtual assistant, but I'm in the process of figuring that out now. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it, and thank you very much.